Have you ever woken up in the morning feeling heavier than you should, like your body aged overnight? Even though you did nothing wrong, I'm Dr. Mark Ellis. And if you've ever felt swollen hands, puffy eyes, tight rings, or that strange morning heaviness, you need to hear this. Because those feelings aren't random. They are warning signs that your kidneys are struggling while you sleep. And here's the part almost nobody realizes. When your kidneys can't keep up with waste at night, toxins don't stop. They build up, quietly, relentlessly, night after night. By the time symptoms finally reach your awareness, the damage has already been quietly progressing for months, sometimes years. Most people have no idea that nighttime kidney stress is one of the hidden triggers behind early aging chronic fatigue, restless sleep, and sudden morning blood pressure spikes that seem to appear out of nowhere. But here's the good news, and it's the reason you should stay with me for the next few minutes. Your kidneys can repair while you sleep, if and only if you give them the right nighttime support. Not pills, not detox powders, just 4 natural fruits that contain powerful compounds capable of lowering inflammation and binding waste before it enters your bloodstream and helping your kidneys recover through the night instead of falling further behind. What I'm about to share may be the most important kidney healing message you hear this year. Because once you understand how these 4 fruits work, you'll finally know why some people wake up lighter, clearer, more energized, while others wake up feeling older than the day before. And the difference often comes down to one simple choice made before bedtime. So stay with me. Not just out of curiosity, but because this may quietly transform your mornings, your sleep, and the health of your kidneys more than you ever imagined. And to understand how your kidneys can finally rest at night, we need to start with the fruit that works like a silent protector: blueberries. Most people see them as just a breakfast topping, but if you knew what they do to your blood vessels after sunset, you'd never look at them the same way again. I remember one of my patients, Margaret, a 63-year-old woman who came to me exhausted every morning. Puffy eyes, heavy feet, constant pressure in her head. She told me, "Doctor, I sleep, but I don't feel rested." And that line struck me because it's exactly what happens when the microscopic vessels inside the kidneys are inflamed and overworked through the night. So I asked her to try something ridiculously simple: half a cup of blueberries in the evening. Nothing fancy, no complicated diet. Just blueberries. What happened next surprised even her. Within 2 weeks, the swelling in her ankles dropped noticeably. Her morning blood pressure eased by a few points. And she told me, "My body feels lighter when I wake up. Like someone lifted a weight." That someone wasn't magic, it was anthocyanins. These deep blue pigments move through the bloodstream like tiny firefighters, calming irritated vessels and helping blood glide smoothly into the kidney's filtering network. When blood flows easier, the kidneys don't need to fight so hard overnight. Science backs this up strongly. Several studies show that regular blueberry intake can lower the top number of your blood pressure by around 5 points, a small number on paper, but a huge relief for kidneys that already struggle at night, and their fiber. It doesn't just improve digestion, it feeds good gut bacteria that trap harmful waste before it ever hits your kidneys. Some research even shows a reduction of nearly 10% in toxic waste markers simply from eating high-fiber fruits like blueberries. This is why blueberries are not just healthy, they're incredibly kidney-friendly at night. Low sodium, low potassium, slow, steady natural sugars that won't spike blood glucose while you're sleeping. They're light, they're gentle, and they don't trigger reflux. For people with pre-diabetes, swelling, or early kidney strain, they're one of the few nighttime fruits that give sweetness without consequences. But here's what most people never consider: the benefits come from consistency, not quantity. Even frozen blueberries, often cheaper and just as nutritious, can deliver the same nighttime support as fresh ones. Half a cup is all it takes to ease some of the nightly pressure your kidneys endure without a sound. And while blueberries quietly protect your kidneys through the night, but only knowing this isn't enough, because there's another fruit whose nighttime power can shift your sleep rhythm itself, and most people overlook it. And while blueberries protect your kidneys quietly through the night, tart cherries step in with something even more rare. They don't just support your kidneys, they repair your sleep itself. And if there's one thing the kidneys crave more than anything, it's deep, uninterrupted rest. I remember a patient named Robert, a 58-year-old truck driver, who told me, "Doc, I can fall asleep, but I can't stay asleep." He'd wake up 2, sometimes 3 times a night, sometimes from muscle cramps, sometimes from that sudden pressure behind his eyes that he brushed off as just stress. What he didn't know, and what most Americans don't, is that poor sleep is like pouring gasoline on kidney inflammation. Every time you wake up suddenly, your blood pressure surges and your kidneys take the hit. So I asked him to try Tart Cherries, not the sugary pie filling, but real Tart Cherries or diluted Tart Cherry juice, one serving about 2 hours before bed. And what happened shocked him. I slept straight through for the first time in months, he said. His morning pressure dipped. His headaches eased. His muscles stopped twitching. The secret natural melatonin. Tart cherries contain one of the most gentle body-aligned forms of melatonin on the planet. Instead of flooding your system like a pill, it enters slowly, matching your natural rhythm, helping you fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. In one study, adults who drank Tart cherry juice slept nearly 90 minutes longer each night. And for someone whose kidneys are overloaded, those 90 minutes are priceless. But melatonin is only half the story. The deep red pigments inside Tart cherries, the same anthocyanins that make them vibrant, reduce inflammatory markers like C-reactive protein by up to 25% in some research. When inflammation drops, the tiny vessels that feed the kidneys can finally relax. Blood flows smoother. Filters work calmer. Pressure goes down sometimes for the first time in years. And something many people don't realize is that Tart cherries contain a gentle amount of magnesium. Not enough to act like a supplement, but enough to help ease nighttime muscle tension, a hidden cause of restless sleep in people with kidney strain. Now, if you choose juice, make sure it's unsweetened and diluted. 6 ounces mixed with water is enough to trigger the melatonin response without spiking your sugar overnight. And for whole cherries, just half a cup is all you need for a deeper, cleaner night of rest. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Tart cherries help regulate nighttime blood pressure surges, those sudden spikes at 2 or 3 a.m. that you never notice, but your kidneys definitely do. By smoothing out these hidden pressure waves, your kidneys get the quiet window they need to heal. And as powerful as Tart cherries are, but only knowing this isn't enough, because the next fruit doesn't just calm your kidneys. It traps toxins before they reach your bloodstream, and most people have no idea how life-changing that is. And while Tart cherries help restore your sleep and calm the hidden pressure waves that strike your kidneys at night, apples work in a completely different way. They clean the path before waste even gets near your kidneys. If blueberries protect and Tart cherries soothe apples, act like a quiet housekeeper scrubbing the mess long before it reaches the filters. I'll never forget Laura, a 66-year-old woman who came to me constantly bloated at night and sluggish every morning. She thought her kidneys were failing faster. But the truth was simpler. Her gut wasn't clearing waste properly, so toxins kept cycling back into her bloodstream. I recommended something almost too simple, a small apple in the evening, 2 to 3 hours before bed. After 10 days, she told me, "Doctor, I wake up flatter, lighter, and my stomach isn't fighting me anymore." That change didn't come from sugar or vitamins. It came from pectin, a special fiber inside apples that expands like a gentle sponge in the intestines. Pectin binds waste particles and harmful compounds before they can leak back into your blood. Research shows this process can lower toxin markers by 5 to 10%, giving your kidneys a calmer workload through the night. Even the peel matters. Its antioxidants protect tiny kidney vessels from inflammation and help maintain stable nighttime blood pressure. And for people watching, potassium apples are one of the safest evening fruits, low in sodium, steady in natural sugars, and incredibly easy to digest when eaten at the right time. But as powerful as apples are in reducing toxic load, but only knowing this isn't enough, because the next fruit doesn't just protect your kidneys, it hydrates and strengthens them in a way most people never expect. And if apples help reduce the toxic load before it reaches your kidneys, red grapes take it one step further. They protect the very vessels that carry blood into those filters. Think of grapes as the nighttime shield, keeping your circulation smooth so your kidneys don't have to fight against stiff, inflamed arteries while you sleep. One of my long-term patients, Evelyn, a 71-year-old retired teacher, struggled with morning swelling for years. Puffy eyelids, tight fingers, ankles that felt like they were filled with sand. She told me, "Doctor, every morning feels like my body is retaining yesterday's stress." I had her add a small handful of red grapes in the evening, not right before bed, but about 2 hours earlier. Just a simple half cup. Within weeks, her swelling lessened, her rings fit again, and she said, "My mornings finally feel light." The real power behind red grapes comes from resveratrol, a compound proven to improve blood vessel flexibility by up to 15% and reduce inflammation markers like CRP by nearly 20%. When vessels relax, blood flows evenly through the kidneys, easing the nightly pressure that often leads to swelling and morning fatigue. And because grapes carry water inside their cells, they offer gentle hydration throughout the night without causing those frustrating 2 a.m. bathroom trips. Even better, their natural sugars release, slowly making them a safer nighttime choice than heavier high glycemic fruits. For people managing blood pressure or salt sensitivity, red grapes are low in sodium and easy to digest, a rare combination that supports both heart and kidney function. But even with all the benefits grapes offer, but only knowing this isn't enough, because there's one final truth about nighttime kidney recovery that most people never hear until it's too late. And while red grapes strengthen the vessels that guide every drop of blood into your kidneys, there's one deeper truth about nighttime kidney recovery that almost no one talks about. And it's the reason so many people continue to wake up swollen, tired, or foggy even when they're eating all the right foods. Your kidneys cannot heal in a body that stays inflamed through the night. Not even the cleanest diet can overcome a system that never truly powers down. I learned this from a patient named Thomas, a 60-year-old landscaper who did everything right. He walked, he ate clean. He avoided salt, but still woke up every morning exhausted. Nothing made sense until he told me he was working late into the night, under stress, checking emails, in bed, barely resting mentally. His body was lying down, but it wasn't resting. And when your mind never slows, your sympathetic nervous system never shuts off. That constant fight-or-flight state quietly tightens blood vessels and keeps nighttime inflammation high, blocking kidney repair the same way static blocks a signal. Science shows that evening stress can raise nighttime blood pressure by 10-20 points, enough to disrupt kidney filtration for hours. This is why so many people wake up with headaches, swollen fingers, or a heartbeat that feels heavier than normal. It's not just the kidneys, it's the internal storm they're forced to work through. The solution isn't complicated: a simple pre-bed routine, dim light, slower breathing. A quiet room can lower sympathetic activity and allow the kidneys to operate in recovery mode instead of survival mode. Thomas didn't change his diet, he changed his nights, and that changed his mornings. But even understanding this deeper truth still isn't enough, because there's one final message, one final choice that can determine whether your kidneys continue to struggle or finally begin to heal. And once you understand how nighttime stress blocks kidney repair, there's one final mistake that pushes the damage even further, and it's something almost everyone does without thinking. It's the habit of eating too late at night. Not junk food, not huge meals. Even a healthy late-night snack can quietly sabotage your kidneys while you sleep. I learned this from a patient named Helen, a 57-year-old nurse who often grabbed a small snack after her shifts: a granola bar, a bowl of fruit, sometimes just a handful of crackers. She thought it was harmless, but she kept waking up bloated, thirsty, and exhausted. Her labs showed something unusual: nighttime glucose spikes and elevated kidney workload. Her body wasn't failing, her timing was. When you eat too close to bedtime, your digestive system stays active long after you lie down. And digestion requires blood flow, a lot of it. That surge diverts circulation away from the kidneys at the exact moment they're trying to detoxify and reset. Research shows that eating within 2 hours of bedtime increases nighttime inflammation by up to 28% and raises morning blood pressure in many adults. Worse, late-night digestion raises sympathetic activity, the same fight-or-flight response that tightens blood vessels and forces the kidneys to filter under stress instead of rest. When Helen simply stopped eating after 8 p.m., her mornings transformed. Less swelling, less morning pressure, more clarity. Her kidneys finally got the quiet hours they needed. But only knowing this isn't enough, because there's still one final truth, one decision that decides whether your kidneys stay in survival mode or finally begin to heal. If you've made it all the way here, I want you to remember something important. Your kidneys are not fragile, they're responsive. They listen to every choice you make, every night of rest you give them, every fruit that reduces their workload, every quiet moment that lowers your stress. And even if you've been struggling with swelling morning pressure or fatigue for years, your body is not beyond repair. It just needs the right support given consistently, gently, and at the right time of day. So here's my advice to you as your doctor, and as someone who genuinely wants to see you healthier. Choose one small habit from tonight's video and make it yours. Maybe it's a handful of blueberries. Maybe it's tart cherries for deeper sleep. Maybe it's an apple to reduce toxic load or red grapes to ease morning swelling. Or maybe it's simply giving yourself a calmer evening routine. One small step done nightly can shift everything. And if this message spoke to you, please save this video so you can come back to it whenever you need a reminder. And make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the new kidney health lessons I share, because your kidneys deserve guidance, clarity, and care from someone who truly understands what you're going through. You're not alone in this journey. Healing doesn't happen in a day, but it absolutely happens when you give your body the chance. And I promise you, with the right choices, especially at night, your mornings can become lighter, clearer, and far more hopeful than you've ever imagined.